are the options for server 1 tonight. As we had the Brazilian Stocker last week, it's not in the draw for this week. Porsche Cup and Clio Cup are back. GT3 TCR as a new entry is there, and the V8 supercars. So we start as usual with selecting 2 of them. Let's go.
So the first of the 2 is going to be Clio Cup. We had that one once before this season. It was a Fuji, and in what I've heard, a lot of drivers' opinions, the best racing we've had so far this season in Server 1. And the other one's going to be Porsche Cup. 2 very different cars, so it's either going to be slipping and sliding on the first lap with the Porsche Cup, or it's going to be the Clio Cup.
Yeah, we'll find out later. We will move to the track now. Those are the track options for server 1. So let's go and select 2.
You might say, wow, it looks less than it was at the start of the season. Well, that's because every track that we go to gets taken out of the draw. And we go to Indianapolis once again. What other track will be in the draw? Lime Rock Park with the chicanes. So not the quick right-hander up the hill, but the chicanes that we have there. Also 2 completely different tracks as well. I'd say Lime Rock Park fits the Clio Cup best. Indianapolis personally fits both, I would say.
Okay, I think we just stay here and select the track.
As usual.
Oh, let's go.
Track first, then the car. Looks like we're going to Indianapolis, not to Lime Rock. Which car, however? That's the question. It's a track that both would fit really well on. So then, let's see.
Let's find out what car we're going to race tonight at Indianapolis on the moto version, which is a completely different version to the one we had last week.
I'm pretty sure you drive it in the opposite direction. It's going to be the Porsche Cup as well. It's going to be slip and sliding.
So we have a winner for server 1. It's going to be Porsche Cup at Indianapolis Moto. This is the draw for the first server. Good luck, everyone. Have fun. See you after the first race back in this channel for the second draw.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from wherever you may be in the world, and welcome to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway for the second time this season. This time, however, though, well, we are driving in the opposite direction. We are driving on the Moto version with the Porsche Cup cars. The cars that, of course, we used on the first round of this season. And that was back then in Sao Paulo. So that was amazing to witness. Then we had some great racing. Of course, the race after that was the Clio Cups at Fuji. That was the week after. But that was, from what I've heard from most drivers, the best racing they have had so far this season in Server 1. Well, it was in the draw, but it didn't get drawn. However, though, we got a beautiful combination in terms of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway and the Porsche Super Cup, so the Porsche Cup car, the Porsche 992. Before we go anywhere, let's take a quick look at the championship for now then. This is how we're looking at the moment, and this is from top to bottom. Lucas Müller is leading the way on 184 points, Mirko Bortolotti on 181, Jonas Vana on 161 points, 20 points behind Mirko Bortolotti. Hendrik Augustin in 4th, and Volta Lux in 5th, Marius Soek 6th, Lins Langeveld in 7th, Benedikt Hitz in 8th, Florian Becker 9th. Winston Eckel rounds off the top 10. Jens Fiedler in 11th, Martin Stadtmann in 12th, Hugo Rob 13th, Marinko Jordanovski P15th, Pascal Haas 16th, 17th, Christoph Steiner, Benny Moser in 18th, Sean Ter in 19th, and Henrik Steurer rounding off the top 20. We'll quickly scroll through to the rest of the standings because there are quite a lot to go through. So here you can see your favorite driver. And then we'll move on to the Silver Championship. Starting once again from top to bottom with someone who's been moved to the overall championship. And you can see why that is the case. Quinten Verdonk. He is not a silver anymore. There were rumors last week about this happening. And indeed, it did happen. Quinten Verdonk is now overall not a silver anymore. But the points that he took in the silver class will stand. Jan Lins in 2nd. Christoph Steiner in 3rd, Philippe Grun in 4th, Tom Leitgeb in 5th, Florian Stadtmann in 6th, and Ben Buhnagel in 7th, Torsten Gross in 8th, Stefano Pellegrino in 9th, and Davy Uwema in P10. Manex Heisterden, he's also back, but not a silver either. Both DSRT drivers have been moved to the overalls. Matthew Ralston in P12, and Chris Meyer in 13th, Mario Trommer 14th, Markus Deutsch in 15th, Christian Ablasser in 16th, Michael Derlinger, the last of the point scoring drivers in the silver class, in 17th. Well, that was that then, and that is also towards the end of the practice session. We're waiting for qualifying at the moment. It is Daniel Sommer on top ahead of Lucas Müller. Then it is Niels Langeveld and then Mirko Bortolotti. Once again, I do apologize once I start sounding a bit rough round the edges towards the end of the evening. Well, let me know, but I won't be able to do much about it. I've been having a cold for quite some time now. Sadly, there's nothing I can do to fix it right now. Well then, let's wait for qualifying then to get underway, which is as always a one-lap shootout. Alright then, that is it for practice. Let's head into qualifying. And this qualifying is going to be important, as we know. Not easy to overtake on the first couple of corners. However, though, as long as you qualify first, third, fifth, seventh, ninth, then you will have a chance, of course, of going through, etc., to take pole position. Everyone who qualifies next to that won't. Well then, here we go, looking with Stefano Pellegrino in the silver class. Marinko Jordanovski also out on track. Niels Langeveld also out on track. Rob also out on track. Robert Hega, he is back in business for Hega Sport. So for him, it's been a busy couple of weeks getting the team ready. And himself, of course. So then, Robert Hega, as always. It's not going to be easy for him. First time back. First qualifying he's going to do in quite a while as well. So that won't make it easy for him. However, as we know from Robert Hega, is that the man is determined. He doesn't need an invitation. He just does it. And if he sees a gap, he goes for it. Marinko Jordanovski on board with him then. The man who was purple in the second sector on his outlap. The quickest first sector on his outlap as well. So then Marinko Jordanovski, what can he do? See how difficult and how twisty it is through there. Definitely not easy to overtake on. But an exit out of that corner is going to be also vitally important. Into another twisty section before we go back onto the backstretch. Right after this one, which normally is a left, coming off the straight into a hard braking zone. Once again, purple sector for Marinko Jordanovski gets taken away by Mirko Bortolotti, who's purple in the first two sectors. That purple gets taken away by Daniel Zoma from CMRC, who was quick in practice. And is proving to be quick once again. Marinko Jordanovski, what can he do? Coming back onto the start-finish stretch in a couple corners time. 1 minute 40 left on the clock. A right hand corner, then a left hand corner. Back onto the straights through the cones. And onto the straight we go. Across the line for Marinko Jordanovski. What's it going to be? Across the line, it is going to be not enough for pole position. It is though for Mirko Bortolotti. He's ahead of Lucas Müller with a very good time at the moment. Daniel Sommer behind him, Marius Zug behind him, Bert Bühnagel. He's also quick. Bert Bühnagel was quick underway. Niels Langeveld was also quick underway. But I think Niels Langeveld has taken an off track, which is going to hurt his chances in this race. Once again, Niels Langeveld has been quick, but just hasn't had that consistency yet of constantly being up there. And it's things like taking an off track in your fast lap, which is so easy to do, especially on this track. That just puts him at the back of the field, which makes for a stunning comeback drive all the time. But it isn't quite as good for his championship points. It would be better if he just started up front and could just pick up 1 or 2 positions from there, or just lead the whole race. But of course, there are a couple of drivers who are willing to do so, but aren't quite achieving that. Maximilian Paul is also out on track. So then that was qualifying. Let's have a look then at the grids for our first heat race. It'll be Mirko Bortolotti on the pole, Daniel Sommer next to him, Jens Fiedler in third, Marius Stug fourth, Ben Bühnagel fifth, Jordanowski in sixth, Stadtmann seventh, Leitgeb in eighth, Devioman ninth, Hitz in 10th, Niels Langeveld in 11th, and 12th, Sean Dare. As we flick through, 13th, it's Matthew Ralton, and Chris Meyer in 14th, and that is it, ladies and gentlemen. For now. Let's get rid of that. And let's go towards the grid. Here we go, then everyone's revving it up for the start of this race. Waiting for the 5 red lights to come on. There they are.
Green, green, green.
4, 5. It's lights out and we're underway. Mirko Bortolotti not with the best up. Daniel Sommer next to him. He had a banger of a start already alongside him going down into turn 1. Turn 1 though, a left-hander. Turn 2 is a right-hander, so Daniel Sommer is in the right position for that. He's going to stick alongside Mirko Bortolotti. Mirko has to give him room on the opening lap. So difficult though to do so on these cold tyres in this Porsche Cup car. Up the inside goes Mirko Bortolotti again, still side by side between the top two. Looking to get through now is Marius Stug, Jens Fiedler behind that. Also waiting patiently for something up ahead of him to go wrong. Then Benedict Hitz in 6th, Niels Langeveld in 7th. Mirko Bortolotti being challenged. Oh no, Daniel Sommer's gone off. My goodness me. That is atrocious for Daniel Sommer. Not what he wants, not what he needs at the beginning of this qualifying, or at the beginning of this heat race that qualifies you for the feature race. Of course, he's going to have a chance to come back from it, but my oh my, that has hampered his chances a lot. Mirko Bortolotti then, he is the one that we're looking at the moment to keep a hold of that first position. Jens Fiedler in 3rd is putting all the pressure he can on Marius Stug. Oh, contact between the two as soon as we switch to the onboard camera, and both have gone round. Marius Stug is round, so is Jens Fiedler. But I would pretty much say that mistake would be on Jens Fiedler. Threw it up the inside, expected that he was going to get the room from Marius Stug. That was not the case, and that is then given P2 to Benedict Hitz. P3 to Marinko Jordanowski. These two are going at it. This is Marinko Jordanowski ahead of Niels Langeveld. This will be a season best result in the heat races for Marinko Jordanowski. If he can get a podium. Niels Langeveld, one last time out in the Super Formula, had an amazing start of the feature race. If you go and look on his social media, if you haven't seen it yet, because it was onboard footage from him, which shows you how much chaos it was on the opening lap. Niels Langeveld has also now gotten past Marinko Jordanowski. Marinko let him pass, but I don't think that is quite in Marinko's blood. Marinko will fight that to the end. Niels Langeveld passes him onto the on the track, and onto P3 he goes. Benedict Hitz still chasing down the leader in the race. Mirko Bortolotti 2.3 seconds at the front of the field now. Chris Meyer, the leader in the silver class at the moment, he would continue through to the feature race. midst of all of this, looks like one or two drivers have had quite a couple of incidents against Fiedler. Of course, one of them together with Marius Zug. And Ben Buhnagel has dropped 2. David Omar dropped 1. Florian Stadtmann dropped 4. Here's Florian Stadtmann. His car looks all fine. His position loss definitely doesn't. Lost 4 positions. Mirko Bortolotti still in that commanding lead. 2.5 seconds is the gap at the moment to Benedict Hitz. Mirko doesn't need to push. Mirko can take it easy on to the last lap. He doesn't need to take any risks. He doesn't want to take any risks right now. If he can just keep himself where he is, he will have pole position for the feature race. Moving further back in the field, Sean Taylor on the back of Marius Zug. Red Bull liveried Porsche, that's Sean Taylor. Ahead of that is the BS Plus competition livery Porsche. That is Marius Zug. Ahead of that you have Ben Buhnagel, and ahead of that is Tom Lightgate going wide. Ben Buhnagel now under attack from Marius Zug. Marius took up the inside into the right-hander for Ben Buhnagel. He's going to defend the inside once again. That's going to allow Sean Taylor a chance to try the undercuts on Marius Zug. Didn't quite work, but he's now right in position to try something in turn 1. The outside favoured because you have the inside then for turn 2. Enough to try and make a move. Sean Taylor definitely thought about it for a second, but then that move got blocked off. Then he looks up into turn 2, and that is going to take him out of that fight for now. Ben Buhnagel in 7th. He's ahead of Marius Zug. As you just see, but rather most importantly for him, he's behind Tom Lightgate in the silver class. This would be for the pole position in the consolation race. You don't buy anything for it, but it would be nice to start that race from pole position. Get away well, just set off into the sunset. And setting off into the sunset is what this man has done, Mirko Bortolotti. He has done everything right. I haven't found a mistake in how he's driven so far. And that means that Mirko Bortolotti coming into the last couple of corners with a 3-second gap will come onto the straight to take pole position for the feature race. Mirko Bortolotti back to winning ways. And let's see if he can translate that to a victory in the feature race. Stellar drive from Mirko Bortolotti. Benedict Hitz will start in P2, or P3, excuse me. Niels Langeveld in 5th. Marenko Jordanovski in 7th. And it's Chris Meyer who will start in P9. Behind that, though, Marius Zug on the last lap overtook Tom Lightgate and Ben Buhnagel. Jens Fiedler still behind them. Florian Stadtmann coming through in 10th. Sean Taylor in 11th. Matthew Rowton is the last one to come across the line. He will come through in P12. Well then, that was that. And let's go on then to the grid for the second heat race. Let's see how we line up for that one. Lucas Müller is one thing that's for sure. He will be on the pole position for it. Here we go then. Lukas Müller ahead of Robert Heger, then Florian Becker in third, Martin Stattmann in fourth, Hugo Sasse fifth, Jan Lind sixth, Lucas Gramberg
Green flag, green flag.
seventh. We're already underway apparently. They don't give us even any time to look at the grid. Green, Lukas Müller still leading it to turn one, Robert Heger behind that. Then it's Martin Stattmann. Hugo Sasse has been overtaken at the start. But he gets that position back, pushes the 5 though of Martin Stattmann a bit wide. That allows a couple of Kazakh cars. Look at the gaggle of Kazakh cars that's in the middle there. All being held up by one driver. I think it was Hugo Sasse who was searching for traction on these cool tires. That has allowed Robert Heger and Lukas Müller at the front of the field to just get away. Robert Heger, first time he's back in the W12 this season. Of course, we know Robert Heger from previous seasons, but he's back for the first time this season in, well, week 4 of the 12. Which is for sure less than ideal. But for now, it is Robert Heger in P2, Hugo Sasse in third. And that is not a bad comeback if you're going to start P4 in your first race back. You're definitely in with a shot at the win, but it could even be more for Robert Heger. Depending on how he goes, depending on how he fares against Lukas Müller. Big stir up at the back here of the field. That Porsche has looked happier. Torsten Gross. He's behind Lucas Gramberg. There we go, Torsten Gross in the blue livery car. Maximilian Paul ahead of him or behind him. Ahead of him is Lucas Gramberg trying the attack on Jan Lins. Couldn't quite make it stick. Henrik Augustin ahead of that. Manis Heister. Now, of course, in the overall class, and it's gone wrong for the Kazakh boys ahead of him. Manis Heister sees the opportunity to go up the inside of Martin Stattmann. Couldn't quite make it stick, and instead loses a couple of positions because of it. Florian Becker is going slowly on the apex there as well. Hugo Sasse trying to make his way around the outside of Hugo Rob. The both Hugos in a fight. That is a bit of a corner cut Hugo Sasse. That was all 4 tires well over the white line. Robert Heger has dropped a bit compared to Lukas Müller. Lukas Müller, the class of the field here in Heat 2. That means that he will start P2 if he can clinch onto this. Müller has been the surprising challenge really this year for the championship. Well, we can't really say he's been the surprising challenge, but for someone who hasn't been here all that much before to come in this year and be fighting at the top with the likes of Mirko Bortolotti, a 4-time winner of the W12 Sprint Series. Jonas Varna, someone who's always challenged his teammate to the lead of the championship, Mirko Bortolotti. But it's now 2v1 for Dor Esports. I haven't seen Jonas Varna yet this evening. Feeling this is going to be one of his drop scores. Lukas Müller will be happy with this. So I imagine will be Robert Heger. Zasse. He is way ahead at the moment of Henrik Augustin. Henrik Augustin is ahead of Maximilian Paul. It's important he gets up into the top 5 because, of course, the top 5 of the race advances to the feature race. So keep that in mind. Top 5 at the moment: Lukas Müller, Robert Heger, Hugo Rob, Martin Stadtmann, and Hugo Zasse. Those are the ones who would continue to the feature race. Augustin would just about miss out. He'll be on P2 for the consolation race. Consolation race a minute shorter than the heat races. Maximilian Paul and Augustin looks like are gonna miss out. It's about 2-second gap to the top 5 for Augustin. And it's definitely not impossible, but he's going to have to gain a lot on this last lap for that to become a reality. This is the fight at the front of the field for P3 and 4. That's Hugo Rob and Martin Stadtmann. Behind that is Hugo Zasse, who's trying to make his way also to a bit more safety. Looks a bit damaged, Hugo Zasse, to the right front of that car, but it might not all matter because just like Mirko Bortolotti did in Heat 1, Lukas Müller, his championship rival, is going to do exactly the same. And he's going to start P2 right alongside the man that he needs to be if he wants to stay ahead in the championship. Lukas Müller wins the E2 ahead of Robert Heger. And a very respectable drive from the both at the front. Hugo Rob still in the fight, but that isn't really a fight anymore with Martin Stadtmann and Hugo Zasse. Hugo Rob up 6 positions from where he started. And Augustin up 4, Maximilian Paul up 5, Henrik Störer +2, and Thorsten Gross also on +2. Righty then. Let's take a look at the grid for the consolation race. Marius Zug ahead of Henrik Augustin, then Tom Lightcape, Maximilian Paul, Ben Bühnagel, Florian Becker, Jens Fiedler, Henrik Störer, Florian Stadtmann, Stefano Pellegrino, Chanter, Jan Linz. Then it is Matthew Roughton, Thorsten Gross, Davy Oma, Lucas Kramberg, Daniel Sommer, and Marnix Heister. That is it. I speeded over that because I knew it was going to be close in terms of who was going to be where. But we're on the roof of the pole sitter Marius Zug. Henrik Augustin. Waiting for the 5 red lights. There they are. That's all they'll be looking at. It's a jump start for Marius Zug. Let's hope that he just about stayed within where he was allowed to. But it looked like a jump start for Marius Zug. If he pulls into the pit lane, we know why. And that's because we saw that car move before the lights even went completely on. A jump start from Marius Zug, Henrik Augustin. Oh, if he had a jump start, that means he's going to be starting all the way at the back for Marius Zug. That would hurt his championship points a lot. Marius Zug. Leading the way ahead of Henrik Augustin, Ben Bühnagel in P3, ahead of Jens Fiedler in 4th, Henrik Störer in 5th, Maximilian Paul in 6th. He has dropped 2 positions compared to his starting position. Daniel Sommer up 6, because Daniel Sommer needs to make moves for SimRC in the course livery car. Up the inside he goes, makes that mistake on the 555 from Jan Lins. Of course, he was up there in the Silver Championship, so every point is one for him. For Daniel Zoma, it's now 7 positions gained, and he's up to the back of Florian Stadtmann. He was up to the back of Florian Stadtmann. He's now past Florian Stadtmann. No, Florian Stadtmann is ahead of him. Stefano Pellegrino was the one who went off. He's now on the back of Florian Stadtmann. Stefano Pellegrino he passed once he was onto the back of him. Marius Zuk is indeed into pit lane. Oi, oi, Marius, that is not what you want for a first race. Back out. Off the pit lane limiter goes the car. Henry Augustin still leading the way, 1.5 seconds ahead of Ben Buhnagel. Ben Buhnagel in the silver class, of course, doing a tremendous job. For that, the higher up he starts, in the better position he will be. Jan Lins in P8 is the second of the silver class at the moment in this race. Ben Buhnagel has been overtaken by Maximilian Paul. Maximilian Paul is almost onto the grass here in the 71, the right hand side of the screen. Left hand side of the screen, 911, that is Ben Buhnagel. Gonna try and carry it around the outsides of his teammate. Couldn't quite make that stick. And I was under attack from Jens Fiedler. Jens Fiedler's going to try and make his way through, but he can't. Jens Fiedler side by side with Florian Becker. Florian Becker, however, says to Jens Fiedler, alright mate, you slot in here. And let's see what we can do on the straight, maybe work together, or I'll just pass you. Quickest in the field at the moment, Daniel Zoma, who's already up to the back of Florian Becker. 2 purple sectors, sector 1 and 2. We've entered the last lap now. So next time Henry Augustin comes across start finish, the checkered flag will be out. We'll move to the feature race, but not for Ben Buhnagel in the position that he was in. You go from leading the silver class to doing some donuts in the grass. However, though, hasn't dropped further than 4th in the silver class. Jan Lins now leader in the silver class at the moment in this race. There's Henrik Augustin. It looks like he has quite some time left still. This is coming on to the back straight now. I thought he was in the twisty section after this straight, but this will clearly go to Henrik Augustin in terms of the win in the consolation race. And he will start P11 for the feature race. Henrik Störer in P2 at the moment, P12 for the feature race. Well then, across the line it'll be for Henrik Augustin. And he's going to pick up a victory, this time in the consolation race. But a victory is a victory, and he'll be happy with Henrik Störer ahead of Maximilian Paul, who lost the position at the start of the race, but managed to gain back that position later on, and one more. Stadtmann has come through with 9. Jan Lins has won the silver class. Stefano Pellegrino also across the line. Ben Buhnagel finished in P4 in the silver class, so still not too bad for him. Matthew Ralston, however, for him it's a bit more difficult. He finishes P15 and 6th in the silver class. Well then, let's take a look at the grid for the feature race. And of course, we have to wait first for a minute of warm-up. This gives the drivers a chance just to slow it down, just to regather themselves. Also time to practice the starts. One more time. Then here we go to the grid for the feature race, and my oh my, you don't want to miss it because it's going to be absolutely amazing. 18 minutes of racing with a pit stop included. Here we go. This is the grid. Mirko Bortolotti on pole ahead of Lucas Müller in P2, the top two in the championship. Front row once again. Benedict Hitz in P3, Robert Hega P4, Niels Langeveld 5th, Hugo Rob in 6th, Mariko Jordanovski 7th, Martin Stadtman 8th, Chris Meyer 9th, Hugo Zasse 10th, Henrik Augustin in 11th, Hendrik Steurer in P12. P13 then for Maximilian Paul, Florian Becker 14th, Daniel Sommer 15th, Jens Fiedler 16th, Jan Lind 17th, Jean Ter 18th, Florian Stadtman 19th, Lucas Krambe in P20. Torsten Gross, P21, Ben Bühnagel, P22, Stefano Pellegrino, P23, Marius Zug, P24, P25 for Matthew Ralston, Tom Leitgeb, P26, David Owen, P27, and Manis Heister, P28. Now is that then. Here we are on board with Mirko Bortolotti, here's Lucas Müller, and here is Benedict Hitz. It's Esports. We're haunting down the Kazakhs of Mirko Bortolotti.
Green flag, green flag.
It's lights out and we're underway for the feature race here. A great start for Benedict Hitz. He's going to try and get onto the back of Mirko Bortolotti. Even though he's not going to make it stick before we get into turn one. The outside goes Lucas Müller. That'll give him the inside for the right-hander. We saw that Mirko Bortolotti was slow but sure at the start last time round. Gets pushed out by Lucas Müller. Lucas Müller does that very smartly. There's a car around in the background. And who might that be? I have a feeling I know who that is. Well, can you guess it? It's Hugo Rob who has gone round in the 21. That is sad for Hugo Rob. And something that he wasn't hoping for with a 6th starting position in this race. But somebody has to put himself over it now. Try and regain some positions by maybe making an early pit stop or something like that. Bortolotti has lost the lead already to his championship rival Lucas Müller. Lucas Müller pushed him out on the exit of turn 2. So I think if these two find each other on track again, it might be a bit heated. These two were the class of the field in both heat races. So there might not be anything in between them. Niels Langeveld isn't there quite to back up his teammate Mirko Bortolotti. However, the Hitz is all over the back of Mirko Bortolotti. So both the esports could be leading this race and they could have a 1-2 race soon. But Mirko Bortolotti with the slipstream that he's getting off Müller is keeping ahead of Benedict Hitz. But from how it looks at the moment, it might not be long before Door Esports has a 1-2 in this race. Mirko Bortolotti is going to try everything in his power not to let that happen. Hendrik Steurer, he is in a fight for the top 10 positions. Jens Fiedler is behind him. Then it's Jean Ter, and then it's Marius Zug. Augustin P14. Hanging on to the back of that group. Lucas Krambe, who is a little while back in the number 17. Then Tom Lightgate, who's leading the Silver Class. Silver Class drivers no higher than P16 at the moment. Lucas Müller, almost a second now to Mirko Bortolotti. And that will mean that Mirko Bortolotti is out of slipstream range. And I just saw it there. Gap outside of a second, so that means Mirko Bortolotti, no slipstream for you, sir. So he's gonna be having his hands full of Benedict Hitz behind him to make sure that it's not going to be a Dor Motorsports 1-2. The more points he can pick up, the least amount of points that he can lose to Lucas Müller, the better, of course, it is for his championship chances. And Mirko Bortolotti is a four-time W12 Sprint Series champion. Definitely knows how to defend. A bit further back in the field, Marius Zug tried to make his way through on Jens Fiedler. These two came to contact earlier in this evening's happenings. That was in Heat 1. To the inside goes Marius Zug. Jens Fiedler concedes that place. Behind them it is Sean Tay in P13. Who's trying to capitalise on them not being able to carry the optimal apex speed onto the back of Udo Zasse is Daniel Sommer. Second is the gap. Right behind him, he has Henrik Schörer, which is also less than ideal. Chante is side by side with Jens Fiedler. He's about to lose another position. Definitely not ideal at the moment for Jens Fiedler and Chante. Both losing time. Chante's done with it. He's fed up with it, and he goes past. And that is how you deal with that. Get frustrated at yourself or anyone else. Just get past. Show them that you're quicker by going past. You know, however, though, this track, not the easiest track to pass on. Gross at the moment, upping the charts. See that some drivers already opting to pit early. Looks like the gap, however, has stabilized from Lucas Müller to Mirko Bortolotti. Cap is staying at 1.3 seconds. And of course, as soon as I say that, it goes down below 1.1. Back up to 1.3. We go again. Mirko Bortolotti has shown some tremendous pace also over the championships seasons. Oh, contact between these two. And that is Hugo Rupp off the track again. And Hugo Rupp is done with it. Hugo Rupp has reset it back to pit lane. For whatever unknown reason, it looked like he could continue. But there might have been something else wrong with that car. Maybe steering or pedal related. Who knows? Because it seems wrong that Hugo Rupp retires after that incident. The one good thing is, though, Torsten Gross, the leader in the silver class, was able to continue. Hasn't lost the lead in that class. Matthew Rauton is behind him. He's in second in that class. He just posted the fastest lap of the race. He's trying to get that gap below a second. If you know one thing about Mirko is that he can pull those laps out of the bag when you need them. So if I say to Mirko now, alright Mirko, I will need a 1:42.3, Mirko will get you a 1:42.3. Knows exactly how much he can push the car, knows exactly how much he can push the tires, and knows exactly how to actually fuel save a little bit with that as well. Therefore, always putting him in a strong position once he's up there. Because getting up there is one thing, getting everything right up there, that is something completely different. Because there are so fine margins. And nobody, absolutely nobody is perfect. So I have to try and get it as close as possible every time you go out there. That is what Mirko Bortolotti is doing at the moment. Nine and a half minutes left. Just a little bit over halfway to go. Has just posted his personal best lap time. That was half a tenth quicker last lap than Mirko. However, though, the question is, can he keep doing that? Or is that a one lap wonder and then his tires are overcooked? Because that is, like I just said, what Mirko is so good at, and that is doing that without overheating the tires, without having to slow down the next lap. And remember, he still has about 8 minutes 40 seconds for him to make up any time lost. So that means the more time that he can make up now, the less time he has to make up after or during the pit stop. It's also going to be an interesting one. When are these two going to pit? That is going to put them on different strategies. But Mirko Bortolotti at the moment is within a second and he keeps on gaining. Lucas Müller slipping and sliding in the back of that car. It definitely looks like he's overheated his tires. Mirko knows exactly how not to do that. 0.6 of a second is the gap coming onto the start finish straight. Mirko Bortolotti is right back into this. So then half a second, the gap between the two at the front. Jens Fiedler also had a fight together with Mario Suk. Like I said, these two found each other before on the track. Let's hope that's not going to happen this time. To the inside goes Jens Fiedler. Mario Suk squeezing into the wall. However, though, he's already fully alongside before they even go into the braking zone. I have a feeling Jens Fiedler might even edge ahead here. And indeed he does, however, carrying it around the outside is Mario Suk. What a drive from Mario Suk, keeping it around the outside there. You have to be so brave to do that, and in the midst of all of that, Sean Terre rejoins the track. That's also something these two are going to have to think over at the front of the field, making the pit stop. Because that is part of your strategy. And both into the pit lane, both Mirko Bortolotti and both Lucas Müller. Benedict Hitz, Niels Langeveld, Robert Hega, all in Daniel Sommer. If he continues, he's the only one who would continue. Yes, Daniel Sommer continues, and he's the only one continuing. Everyone has now made his pit stop. Stay with Mirko Bortolotti, see what Mirko Bortolotti is going to do. Is he going to leave his pit stall earlier? Oh, mistake in the pit lane for Daniel Sommer. That's definitely going to mean that Mirko Bortolotti is going to get the lead of this race. And that is absolutely crucial in the pit lane. Lucas Müller made a pit stop error by overshooting his pit box. And that means that Mirko Bortolotti is now the new effective leader in this race. Niels Langeveld is ahead of Benedict Hitz as well. What a drive from both Niels Langeveld and Mirko Bortolotti, putting the pressure on Lucas Müller. And that pressure eventually resulted in Lucas Müller making a mistake in the pit stop. And now the only driver that they need to wait to disappear out in front of them at the moment would be Daniel Sommer. Daniel Sommer now leading this race. Here he is in the 76. Daniel Sommer is quick, don't forget that. But that is absolutely crucial for the championship and for how we're going to end this server. And here we go, Daniel Sommer into pit lane. And like I said, that's going to give the lead to Mirko Bortolotti. Here we come. Here goes Mirko Bortolotti, pass, start, finish. There goes Lucas Müller. We'll see the gap between the two. It's less than a second. Mirko Bortolotti and Lucas Müller aren't done fighting yet. This could swing the pendulum back into Mirko Bortolotti's favor. Especially with the championship points as they would be coming out of this server. But it isn't done yet. 2 more laps after this. And Mirko Bortolotti is finally free. Langeveld also lurking in the background if something goes wrong between these two, but we're gonna have an incredible end to this race into the last sector. Slip and sliding for Mirko Bortolotti that has allowed Lucas Müller to catch right back up to the back of him. 2 minutes 17 seconds and Lucas Müller is all the way to the front of the field once again on the back of Mirko Bortolotti. He would have made it so much easier for himself if he just stopped on the mark in the pit lane. However, that was not the case. Mirko Bortolotti leads going on to the second to last lap, because we will have another lap after this one. But my goodness me. These two are making an absolute spectacle of it at the front of the field. And in the championship, you couldn't fit anything in between it. Jonas Varna was hoping the day that he was missing that one of these two wouldn't score as well as he would have hoped. But it looks like at the moment, both are going to score maximum as they can. Both were 1 and 2 in qualifying. Mirko Bortolotti won his heat race. Lucas Müller won his heat race. Mirko Bortolotti at the moment leading the feature race second. Lucas Müller. That would mean that it wouldn't have been possible for any of those two together to pick any more points than they've had at the moment. So Jonas Varna will be looking at this and will be thinking, I wish I'd taken another day off. Because this is a definite 0 score for him. And definitely going to be a drop score. Lucas Müller, however, has lost touch with Mirko Bortolotti. Has he overcooked his tires, trying to push on to the back of him? definitely a possibility. Niels Langeveld. He's now getting closer to the back of Lucas Müller. If Lucas Müller has definitely overcooked his tires, then Niels Langeveld is in with a shot at a 1-2 for Gazex Racing here. Further on in the back, Hendrik Augustin, P7 and 8. These two going at it. Daniel Sommer on the back of Marinko Jordanovski. Sommer hasn't really had the comeback drive that he would have wanted. Florian Stadtmann leading in the silvers by about a second over Ben Buhnagel. Tom Lightgib is in third in that class. But it's been a stellar drive from the 92 at the front of the field. Nobody today in server 1 was able to do what Mirko Bortolotti has done, and that is so far putting a Grand Slam possibility on the table, because he's done everything he needed to do, and he's going to turn on to the straight, and Mirko Bortolotti is going to come out of server 1 leading the championship. He wins over his championship rival Lucas Müller. The two of them have made it an absolute thriller here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. But in the end, there can only be one man who comes out on top, and that man is called Mirko Bortolotti from Italy. And Langeveld, of course, finishes third. Maximilian Paul comes through in 6th. A good drive from him. Goodness me, I didn't even think you could lock up a Porsche that bad. Martin Stadtmann in P8, Hendrik Augustin in P9. Chanté finishes in P12. And that is into the wall for Chanté. Well then, let's take a look at the results. Before we do anything, we have to wait for Matthew Roughton to cross the finish line. Here's Matthew Roughton. He comes through in 7th in the silver class. Well then, let's take a look at the results. Well then, Mirko Bortolotti wins out of Lucas Müller in P2, Niels Langeveld in 3rd, Benedict hits 4th, Robert Heger P5, 6th, Maximilian Paul, good result for him as well. Florian Becker in 7th, Martin Stadtmann in 8th, Hendrik Augustin in 9th, Marius Zug in P10, Henrik Steurer in P11, Sean Ter P12, Jens Fiedler 13th, Hugo Zasse in 14th, Marinko Jordanovski 15th, Daniel Sommer 16th, Florian Stadtmann 17th, Ben Buhnagel 18th, Tom Lightgib 19th, Stefano Pellegrino rounding off the top 20. 21st, Jan Lynch, 22nd, Matthew Roughton, Torsten Gross P23, Hugo Ropp P24, Chris Meyer 25th, Lucas Camber 26th, Davy Omar P27, and Magnus Heister P28. Well then, for us, I think it's almost time to go to the draw already. So let's take a peek in there, and let's wait till we get underway with the draw.
Radio check.
Loud and clear.
So also the report form is open, guys, if you need it. Wait a few seconds longer, then we can start the second one. Okay, I think we can start.
Yes, sir.
The screen now. Okay, then we move over to server 2. We have these 4 options: GT4, GTE, Super Formula, and LMP3. Let's select 2. Just we leave it like this.
We've had Super Formula, we've had GTE already this season. And it's going to be, one of the cars is going to be LMP3. If now it's going to be GT4, then for sure, Mirko, we'll have a new car for server 2.
That's really good math right there, mate.
Well, it won't be, because it's GTE, so it's either going to be a new car that we haven't had this season yet, or it's going to be the GTEs which we have had. Last time we had them was at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park.
Yep, copy. So let's move over to the tracks. There we go.
Canadian Tire Motorsports Park is not in the draw anymore.
Just checking. Yeah, Canadian gets out. You're correct. You're right. What else? Do you see anything else?
From what I can see.
No, those are
Doesn't
all
look like it.
eligible, I think.
Yeah, all eligible. And
Right.
I think we haven't had all of them.
Right, so let's go. Selecting 2.
I know that loads of drivers want to go back to Motegi, which was one of the rounds in the previous season. We're going to Aragon.
Maybe.
Maybe. Has to be said.
To find it now. Here. Okay, let's go for the second one.
So it's going to be either Aragon or Zandvoort GP. And that one has been in the draw, I think, 2 times before, but hasn't been drawn officially yet.
It has, but it was the old version, not the GP version, which has been updated recently. So we've never had this one. Let's go and find out what track we're going to race in server 2.
Well then. It's either going to be Aragon or Zandvoort GP.
Ready when you are.
Yes, sir. Let's do it. Let's figure out where we're going to. Oh, it's going to be a close one, but it's going to be Aragon. Once again.
So it's going to be a debut.
It will be.
First time in the series, as well as the Indianapolis moto we just had. So that's going to be the track for server 2. Let's find out which car.
It's either going to be LMP3 or GTE? We haven't had LMP3 yet this season. We've never had LMP3 in the W12 Sprint Series. We have had GTE before.
Yes, exactly. So LMP3 is quite straightforward. If the GTE gets drawn, I invite everyone to please check in the Discord the car location and success ballast. And for some drivers, the car is, let's say, a must. So they have to run the same car again. Those are the drivers on the list. And for all other drivers that are not on that list, please respect the entry list. So if you are not sure what car you selected, make sure you give it a check. Otherwise, you will be disqualified if you enter the server with the wrong car. But that's just in case GT gets wrong. So let's find out what car we're going to run tonight in server 2. Right. So it's going to be LMP3 at Zandvoort for server 2. Good luck, everyone. See you after the race. I don't know, Dan, if you need some drivers in the commentary booth, but feel free to drag them in. I'll see you later.
All right then. Let's go back to the standings and let's see. Looks like no one here for the interview at the moment, so that means that we'll be going to a Be Right Back screen while we wait for the server. And as said, we're going to do LMP3 at Aragon. Alrighty then, welcome back to the W12 Sprint Series. Well then, after some technical problems, we're back. Goodness me, and during the break, apparently my iRacing uninstalled itself or something. I don't know. Some iRacing services, I don't know. They uninstalled. I was looking for them. For some reason, when I downloaded the track, or when I wanted to download the track, it said, well, sir, you're not gonna be able to play the game anymore. But we're in, and that is all that counts. So then, for this race on this 5.29 kilometer track, we are with the LMP3, and changes have been made to the qualifying format here, and that means that we will have a 1 lap qualifying here as well, which on this track, which is very off track. Well, I don't know how you correctly put this, but the off tracks here, you can get them really easily. So that just makes for an interesting qualifying, I would say. So then, here we go. Let's look at the qualifying, because we're gonna get it underway immediately. In the Ligier ESP 320. Fun fact, I was actually close to driving one of these cars myself, but that got cancelled last minute, which was quite sad. But yeah, these are amazing machines. They are really incredible. So for these cars to be in iRacing, these are also one of my personal favorite cars. So yeah, I like the car a lot. I like the fact that it doesn't have too much power, but it still has enough. The sound of it as well is absolutely amazing, and I love it. Mirko Bortolotti, here he is. Also on his outlap, 5.26 kilometer track is quite a long circuit for these cars. Also for these cars, Mirko Bortolotti purple on his outlap. If that doesn't tell you that this man has given it absolutely everything, with the advantage that he has now as well in the championship over Lucas Miller. It's important that he just keeps his cool. This lap so far for Mirko Bortolotti seems to be amazing. However, that might have been an off track. I'm no expert, but that was on the limit for Mirko Bortolotti. Oh, that was almost too late into the braking zone there. But he's giving it absolutely everything. Mirko Bortolotti purple in the second sector at the moment. Where can this end? that was also deep. But it's all within the margins that Mirko Bortolotti needs if he wants just a respectable starting position, if he wants to just be at the front. And that was a very good lap for that. Benedict hits with a 45.0. Mirko Bortolotti goes a second quicker than that. Where goes Lucas Müller? Behind him, and that is all that Mirko Bortolotti needed. Martin Stadtmann and Marius Zug. He ends up in P4 against Fiedler. P12 at the moment. Jan Lintz is also coming through. There is Jan Lintz. Sean Terry also coming through. He is one of the last ones to come through. I don't think he's even going to make it to the finish line. He's not going to make it. Sean Terry's going to have to start from the back. And let's see from where he's going to start. With the grid now. Here we go, on pole position, it's Niels Langeveld, ahead of Mirko Bortolotti, then Maximilian Paul in third, Marius Zug in fourth, Martin Stadtmann in fifth, Florian Becker sixth, Lucas Müller seventh, Benedict Hitz eighth, Hugo Rob ninth, Hendrik Augustin in 10th, Robert Heger, P11 ahead of Jens Fiedler in 12th, 13th for Florian Stadtmann, Tom Leitgeb 14th, Marinko Rodanovsky 15th, Jan Linsen 16th, Stefano Pellegrino 17th, Hendrik Steurer 18th, Sean Terry 19th, and Matthew Ralton in 20th. 21st for Hugo Zasse, ahead of Chris Meyer, 22nd, Ben Buhnagel, 23rd, Davy Hilma, P24. And that is it. That is the grades for this first race. And I'll be waiting for the fire red lights to come on. On board with our pole sitter, Niels Langeveld. All right then. About half a minute left. Here we go. That's that done. Waiting for the 5 red lights now, and there they are onto the gantry. Is 1, is 2, is 3, is 4, is 5. And we're on their way, the lights are out, and a good start from Niels Langeveld. Good start from Mirko Bortolotti as well. Niels Langeveld, even though he doesn't have delivery over 4 wide at the turn 1. That is never going to go right. Who was that who came through? Florian Becker has gone through. Maximilian Paul went up the inside of everyone there. And couldn't quite make the corner either. But he's given up that position, Mirko Bortolotti. All the way to the inside, dropping positions. Benedict Hitz is in 4th, right ahead of him. Marius Zug is now behind Mirko Bortolotti. Mirko Bortolotti says, however, though, Benedict Hitz, I want that position back. A little bit further back in the field in P8 is Lucas Müller, his championship rival, who is to the inside, almost making contact with Marius Zug. And through he goes. He's now side by side with his championship rival, Mirko Bortolotti. Oh, they're all going wide. This is off-track heaven here on this first lap. Some people might have slowed down, some people might have gone way too wide. But one thing's for sure, and that is that Niels Langeveld, after this first lap, has kept that pole position and is still first in the race. Florian Becker, there's the driver behind him. Is Niels Langeveld going to do what he did last time around in Server 2? Florian Becker bringing it almost to a standstill as in the background. Who was that? Lucas Müller. I had to go around there, I think. I thought for a second that Lucas Müller went round, but that was not the case. Mirko Bortolotti still in P5. A little bit further back, Henrik Störer in P20. He already goes into pit lane. He decides to pit early. Florian Stadtmann, 3-1 in the turn 1. All three Kazakh cars, they make it through safely without contact this time. And that wasn't the case for Hugo Rupp. Hugo Rupp has gone round again. Surprise, surprise, the 21 is facing the wrong way on the exit off turn 2. It's really been a horrible evening for Hugo Rupp. Is he going to park it? Please don't park it. Hugo Rupp has parked it and he's back to pit lane. Oh, all kinds of calamities going on. That is Chanter. My, oh my. It's all kicking off here in the early stages. People seemingly still having to get to grips with this LMP3. Of course, the tires aren't quite up to temperature, and then this car becomes so tricky to drive. Niels Langeveld has no trouble with that at all. He could just sit it out at the front, take it easy. However, he cannot make a mistake. Because if you do, look who's there to pounce. Florian Becker. 6/10 in one corner. Maximilian Paul in P3 doing a tremendous job for Kazakhs as well. At the moment it's a Kazakhs 1-2-3, because even though Niels Langeveld at the front of the field has the wrong livery on the car in terms of his team, he is still part of Kazakhs. Benedikt Hitz is the only one at the moment sitting in the way of a Kazakhs 1-2-3-4. Mirko Bortolotti can make that happen. At the moment he is in a Doha Esports sandwich with Lucas Müller behind him. Then it's the BS Plus competition. LMP3 from Marius Zug. Then Hega from Hega Sports. Then Henrik Augustin right behind him. Almost pushing his way through on him. But at the moment, from what it looks like, Henrik Augustin all over the back of Robert Hega. And where is he going to make that pass? Where is he going to make it even stick? Some points on the track are just not really suited for an overtake. Robert Hega paused by Henrik Augustin. So Henrik Augustin continues on his way. Ben Buhnagel leading the silver class. A couple of people have already gone into pit lane. Hugo Zasse, Henrik Störer, Tom Leitgeb, Jan Linz. Those are the drivers who've already gone into pit lane. Into the braking zone. Ben Buhnagel dies deep. That's going to allow Martin Stadtmann to get up the inside of him. These two are teammates, remember. Certainly doesn't look like it from the way they're fighting. They're in a different fight as well. Of course, you can get points for the overall. You can't forget that Mirko Bortolotti is in. That was an early pit stop for Mirko Bortolotti. That's kind of in between. It's not really early, it's not really late, but that's in between. A short pit stop for Mirko, and he gets on his way again. Marius Zug just posted the fastest lap for the BS Plus competition machine. Niels Langeveld still at the front of the field. 0.8 of a second is the gap. He certainly is having to work hard for it, for this victory if he's going to get it. Still 11 more minutes to go, this pressure. Florian Becker is only a second behind him. But he, of course, has Maximilian Paul hot on his heels. It does help a bit that all of them, of course, are teammates. Makes that case a little bit easier. Oh, a bit of a look up. A lot of people are doing that at that corner because it's such a slow corner. You want to carry as much trail braking into that corner as you can, just to get the nose turned in, because it is such a slow corner. You're only really relying on mechanical grip, so all the grip you can get at the front, the better. Ah, that's a bit of a look up you don't want though for Marius Zug. Marius Zug is under pressure. Hendrik Augustin is behind him. Lucas Müller, Benedikt Hitz, both Esports guys have gone into pit lane. Svidla right behind that, and P8 at the moment, 7th of course in the overall class, but you can't count out the 911 from Ben Buhnagel doing a tremendous job. Marco Bortolotti, I think, has jumped both Benedikt Hitz and Lucas Müller. He has, with that early pit stop. He's been putting down some incredible lap times. That means that he has now jumped Benedikt Hitz in the pits. That has made his life a bit easier. That also means that if the top 3 pit, it's a Gazex 1, 2, 3, 4. If they, of course, pit within the time that they can. Because they'll be losing time now to Mirko Bortolotti, Benedikt Hitz and Lucas Müller. These 3 are around the same pace now. Lucas Müller, however, is all over the back of his teammate. And I don't think Benedikt Hitz is going to allow Lucas Müller through with ease. Lucas Müller's going to have to fight for it, but look at the slipstream he's getting down that long back straight. Defensive move from Benedikt Hitz. Benedikt Hitz doesn't really put up a fight. I expected, Benedikt Hitz to put up a bit more of a fight than that. But of course, he knows the championship that his teammate is gunning for. And he knows that his championship rival is right ahead of him. Maximilian Paul is going to be coming out of the pit lane. And he's ahead of Lucas Müller. That means that at the moment only Ben Buhnagel still has the pit. And it at the moment is a Gazex 1, 2, 3, 4. Florian Becker has dropped behind the Esports guys. Maximilian Paul is under pressure now from Lucas Müller. Lucas Müller to the inside of Maximilian Paul. Maximilian Paul could prove his friend Mirko Bortolotti a big favor here if he can keep ahead of Lucas Müller. If he can nibble away a couple of points that Lucas Müller usually would get. He still has about 7 minutes to hang on to that position though. That is definitely not easy with the pressure that Lucas Müller's putting on him. You have to remember, Lucas Müller, day in, day out, he is busy with sim racing. He's a professional esports driver for Esports. Let's get her with his teammate, of course, Benedikt Hitz. Same counts for Jonas Warner. Of course, Jonas Warner isn't here this evening. Oh, who's that? Ben Buhnagel! Ben Buhnagel hasn't made a pit stop yet! Ben Buhnagel has run out of fuel. My oh my. this is something that we haven't seen before. But this is something that is very much possible, and it looks like Ben Buhnagel is going to have to tow. My oh my, Ben Buhnagel, you have made a blunder, my son. And meanwhile, because of all of that, Niels Langeveld leading by 3.6 seconds. I don't think Mirko Bortolotti is going to be able to close up that gap in about 6 minutes. Mirko is quick, but he isn't quite that quick compared to Niels Langeveld. Lap times here of about 1 minute 52. Mirko Bortolotti will push for it. And it's definitely not impossible, but I see it. But I don't see it within the realm of possibilities, especially if Niels Langeveld keeps driving like he has been this whole sprint race. And that is doing a stellar job. Had almost a similar outlap to Mirko. Both of them are improving at the moment. Mirko was about 100th quicker in the second sector, and that is not going to be enough by any means to catch up by the end of this race to Niels Langeveld. Two very different driving styles from both gentlemen. Mirko Bortolotti focuses more on the exit, while Niels Langeveld looks to be focusing a bit more on the entry as well. Benedict Hitz in the background has gotten past Florian Becker. What's happened though to Lukas Müller? Lukas Müller at the moment is in P10. What has happened to Lukas Müller? Oh no! Lucas! What have you done, my son? In the middle of the screen. Does he go to the inside? Does he do anything? Does he crash? Does he spin? Oh no! That is with Maximilian Paul, I think. Yeah, that was together with Maximilian Paul. Well, let's go on board with Lukas Müller. Under braking, all is fine. Then we turn in a little bit of a lock-up, and then, yeah, we just tried to put it into a gap that wasn't really a gap. But hey, if you no longer go for a gap that exists, you are no longer a racing driver. A famous racing driver, a famous Brazilian once said. So Lukas Müller went for it. Paid the price for it. Sadly, so did Maximilian Paul. Maximilian Paul is now back into pit lane. Niels Langeveld still ahead of Mirko Bortolotti. Mirko Bortolotti last time round was about 2.5 tenths quicker. This time around though, both are on the same lap time. Mirko Bortolotti even 600ths of a second slower. Lukas Müller is ahead of Florian Stadtmann. And Marinko Jordanowski in 11th. There aren't really too many battles out on track except this one. Florian Stadtmann to the inside of Lukas Müller. Florian Stadtmann can't make it to the inside of Lukas Müller. Lukas Müller goes wide though in turn 1. That's not the first time we've seen him do that. And once again, Lukas Müller is wide. These must all be off tracks, I presume. Niels Langeveld. Almost a 4-second gap. This lap, he's been crushing Mirko Bortolotti. Mirko might have had something happen to him in the second sector. Lost 3/10 there. But also lost a 10th in sector 3 as well. Marius Zoek hasn't lost or gained any position from where he started. Benedict Hitz, in comparison to that, he is up 5. Up 11 though, Hendrik Störer. Give that man a medal. Up 3 positions from where he started. He has the Porsche LMDH livery on the car. And he certainly looks to be going like an LMDH at the moment with the positions that he's gaining. Still a job from Störer. White flag is out. Niels Langeveld is on the last lap of the race at the moment. There's a battle further back as well. Florian Becker and Hendrik Augustin. This is the battle for P5. Niels Langeveld has really slowed it down on this last lap. Mirko Bortolotti gained almost 1.5 seconds so far. Did a personal best last time round, Niels Langeveld. Oh, around goes Hendrik Augustin on the exit. That is the last lap, sir. Make sure you get round. That's going to give a position to Heger. Or is that Störer? It is Störer. Hendrik Störer is up 12 at the moment. But there's one man who didn't need to be up any. There's one man who just always seems to excel in server 2. And that is the man from the Netherlands. That is Niels Langeveld, because he comes through to win race 1 in the LMP3. Congratulations to Niels Langeveld. Mirko Bortolotti comes through in second. Good championship points for him compared to Lucas Müller. Marius Zoek in P3. Stellar drive from him as well. Lucas Müller for Dot Esports set the fastest lap on the last lap of the race, but you don't really buy anything for it. Well then, that was race 1. And let's take a look at the result from race 1 then. Here we go. It is Niels Langeveld winning ahead of Mirko Bortolotti, Marius Zoek third, Benedict Hitz fourth, Florian Becker fifth, Hendrik Störer in sixth, Hendrik Augustin in seventh, Robert Heger in 9th, Florian Stadtmann in 10th, Jens Fiedler in 11th, 12th, Tom Leitgeb, Mariko Jordanowski 13th, Martin Stadtman 4th, Stefano Pellegrino 15th, Sean Terry 16th, Matthew Ralton 17th, Jan Lins 18th, Davy Wilma 19th, Ben Buurnagel P20. P21, 22, 23 and 24, Maximilian Paul Hugo Zasse, Hugo Rob, Chris Maya not finishing the race. Well, then of course we have our reversed top 18. Well then, here we go. Let's take a look at the grid for that then. Jan Lins will start on pole, and Matthew Ralton in second, Sean third in third, Stefano Pellegrino fourth, Martin Stadtman in fifth, sixth is Marinko Jordanovski, seventh Tom Leitgeb, eighth Jens Fiedler, ninth Florian Stadtman, 10th Lucas Müller, Robert Hega 11th, Hendrik Augustin in P12, P13 for Hendrik Störa, Florian Becker 14th, Benedict Hitz 15th, Marius Zoek 16th, 17th Mirko Bortolotti 18th, Niels Langeveld. The rest is as they finished last time around. So then let's see if Jan Lins can get a good getaway. It's going to be chaos at the start. Let's see who can try and avoid it best. 5 red lights are on. They were out very quickly. And we're underway. A good start from Sean Terre on the outside. He's going to go to P1 on the exit of turn 1. Not the conventional way that went way wide. And there's the chaos that I was talking about. And it looks like loads and loads of Kazakh cars at the back of the field trying to make their way through. Looking at Lucas Müller then in 6th. He's up 4 already. But now his progression is staggered. Slow down a bit. Meanwhile, Sean Terre is running away at the moment. Martin Stadtman in second, also running away from the rest. Oh, that's a big send from, who was that? Lucas Müller. Wow. That was, well, audacious to say the least. Jan Lins in P4, Eddie Jens Fiedler in P5, Marinko Jordanovski in 6th, Florian Stadtman in 7th, Marius Zoek 8th, Benedict Hitz 9th, Tom Leitgeb in 10th. But wow, what a send that was from Lucas Müller. So close to the back of him is Jan Lins. Not quite the conventional way to do it, but it is a way. Coming on to lap 2 then, still Sean Terre leading. Of course, youngest driver on the grid. Then it's Martin Stadtman, Lucas Müller in 3rd, so he's doing a good job there. There is Mirko Bortolotti at the moment. Mirko is in the pits. He's going to try and undercut everyone. A early pit stop, we've seen him do that quite a couple of times already. Jan Lins leading silver class at the moment. A little bit of a lock up, a little bit wide. That's going to allow Marius Zoek to get the run on him. But that run isn't quite enough to make the pass. Hugo Zasse in P13. Oh, who's that round? Oh, Niels Langeveld, our winner from the last race. I said this is Mr. Second Server. But that is not quite how you do it, Niels. I don't exactly know what happened there. Let's take a look at it. Alright, Niels Langeveld. Is he going to do it on his own? No! He's going to drive into... Oh, who did he drive into? Not Davy Ilma. Was that... Ben Buhnagel? No, Henrik Sturla it was who he drove into. In fact, doesn't matter really anymore for Niels Langeveld. He's dropped through the back of the field. That has made him wait now. Marius Took in 6th, ahead of Benedict Hitz now. There's a fight going on with Jan Lins. He just got past Jan Lins. Jens Fiedler is being attacked by Marinko Jordanovski. He's almost pushing him through. He's in the gearbox of Jens Fiedler. Oh no, Shante, the leader of the race, has gone round. He's never been in that position before. And now Shante has gone round. Let's take a look at how exactly that happened. This is the aftermath. This is how it happened. On board with the chopper cam on the curb. Just too much speed into the corner, and that sent him round. That means Shante will not be winning this race. Contact there as well, it looked like. One of the Gazak's cars. Back to live pictures. Finally, the tower and the ticker are on. I couldn't get them to show for the first couple of minutes of this race, which is quite sad, but they're back and they should be working now. Lucas Müller in 2nd, ahead of Jens Fiedler. Marinko Jordanovski in 4th. 5th is Marius Took. Benedict Hitz in 6th. Down 6th though is Jan Lins. Oh, who's gone round in the background? That is Tom Leitgeb. Tom Leitgeb in the 113 has gone round. He's going to try and rejoin the track. And he comes into pit lane immediately. Let's see how long it's going to take him. Martin Stadtmann now the leader of this race. Lucas Müller in 2nd. And Jens Fiedler in 3rd. All of these drivers have had quite the journey to where they are right now. Of course, that's to be expected. Hugo Ropp, he's finally having a good race. That's good to see. Oh, that's a bit too much maybe, Hugo. Too much of the corner cutting. Perfect. If there's no penalty, it's no penalty. You can do it. But Hugo Ropp at the moment in 6th. He's up 17 positions. That is quite big from Hugo Ropp. Marco Bortolotti just set the fastest lap. Here he is, all on his lonesome. That was the plan. That was the plan all along for Mirko. Moment. Let's see when everyone else comes in. Bortolotti is trying to find his way past his teammate Jordanovski. This is losing invaluable time. Jordanovski is not getting out of the way. He shouldn't be getting out of the way. Now then, Mirko Bortolotti gets past him. He's up at a P12. But the man who's just made his pit stop, Marius Zug, is still ahead of him. So Mirko still has some work to do. Back to the fight from Hugo Zasse, Maximilian Paul, and Henrik Störer. These two have been going at it for quite a while. They've all made their pit stop. Niels Langeveld has set the fastest lap. He's coming back through the field. Everyone is in. Is Marius Zug gonna lead this race now? The answer is, it looks like he will. Floor or Martin Stadtmann, is he gonna come out ahead of him? Yes, he is. So is Lucas Müller, of course. Mirko Bortolotti has gained quite a lot of positions with that different strategy from him. He's now up to P4. Benedict Hitz is also up 10. Mirko Bortolotti up 13. Marius Zug up 13. Up 12, Maximilian Paul. Up 11, Hugo Zasse. Niels Langeveld in P12. Coming back through the field nicely, actually. Who's that off? Who's that off? That's Hugo Zasse. Hugo Zasse off. And has lost him quite a lot of time. A little bit further back, Tom Lightgib. Oh, he's catching up to Florian Stadtmann and Sean Terre, I was going to say, but not like that. Florian Stadtmann is all over the back of Sean Terre at the moment. He's going to try and do something into the left-hander. Hard braking zone. He's going to try and outbrake him. Long straight, slipstream, everything. All bells and whistles to the inside for Florian Stadtmann. Job done. Also covers off the cutback, the possible cutback that Sean Terre could do. Florian Stadtmann is up to P17. Still lost 8 from where he started, but that's better than 9. Jens Fiedler ahead of him now. Next target. Mirko Bortolotti. 52.38 last time round. That is the quickest lap time of the race. Marius Zug, 152.44. Augustine at the moment in P7, all over the back of Marinko Jordanovski. A good race from Marinko Jordanovski. Has kind of flown under the radar, but has actually had a really good race, Marinko. 4 minutes, 30 seconds left in this race. Florian Stadtmann once again in a fight with Sean Terry. Sean Terry this time the inside. And will this be job done, Sean Terry? Job done, Sean Terry. However though, not quite job done if you ask Florian Stadtmann. He comes back up the inside. Sean Terry now finally gets ahead, but these two, I have a feeling, will be fighting all the way to the end. Stadtmann can't quite make it up the inside of turn 1. Minutes left. These three will be going at it till the end. Tom Leitgeb now ahead of Florian Stadtmann and also now ahead of Sean Terry. Sean Terry showing the outside. Tom Leitgeb gets the inside. Now his next target is Jens Fiedler. He is 6 seconds up the road though. That is quite the gap to close. At the front of the field, the gap is only 1/10 of a second between Stadtmann and Zug. Marius Zug can't make his way up the inside. Martin Stadtmann keeps P2 at the moment. Look at that, in the background comes Mirko Bortolotti. 2.5 seconds, that's not impossible to catch. 2 laps to go. Tenths in between them now, but Mirko Bortolotti is catching quick as well. 52.6 last time round, 54.7 from Martin Stadtmann. If he keeps that pace, Mirko Bortolotti is going to catch by the end of this lap, and he could actually then have a go on Marius Zug. Now of course they both had a fight on that lap that slowed them both down, because Marius Zug had a 53.1. Still about half a second slower than Mirko Bortolotti, but that wouldn't be enough for Mirko to catch back up to the back of them before the end of this lap to try and have a go into the last lap. Maximilian Paul is quicker in the way as well. 2 purple sectors for him. He's doing a tremendous job. Oh, there's the mistake though from Stadtmann. And that was what Marius Zug wanted. Put them under pressure. And Martin Stadtmann. Well then, let's see what he's going to do with Mirko Bortolotti. Martin Stadtmann will not want to give up that podium. I can assure you that. Going on to the last lap, Lukas Müller will be leading, then it will be Marius Zug. Marius Zug now also will be able to create a bit of a gap to Mirko Bortolotti. Gap has come down to almost 1.5 seconds to Marius Zug. So he gained a second almost. The white flag is out, Barney's waving it. Zug, Stadtmann, who are you choosing? Bortolotti has passed Stadtmann up into the podium. Stadtmann is not going to let it go easily though. Had a look to the inside, but Mirko Bortolotti stays ahead. Stadtmann also knows that if he now crashes out, Mirko Bortolotti, that they will have a not so pleasant chat after the race. Mirko Bortolotti is doing at the moment everything to keep close to Lukas Müller. Lukas Müller is going to try and edge a bit closer after the bad luck he had in race 1 of Survey 2. Marius Zug is going to try and get closer as well. But that means Mirko Bortolotti did enough to come out leading after week 4. And once we go into the break, well then, across the line, it's a win for Lukas Müller. Marius Zug in second, and Mirko Bortolotti in third ahead of Martin Stadtmann. And Martin Stadtmann, out of frustration, slams it into the barrier. Stefano Pellegrino is going to try and make his way through as well. Alright then, let's go over the result. Lukas Müller wins ahead of Marius Zug, Mirko Bortolotti in third, Martin Stadtmann in fourth, Benedict Hitz in fifth. Sixth is Hendrik Augustin. A really good race though from Mirko Bortolotti strategically as well. Marius Zug also up 14 positions, so that is quite a lot. We also have... Oh, what happened there? Stefano Pellegrino, sir, he just went straight on. Hendrik Steurer in 7th. As we have, hopefully, the result ready to show to you. 8th is Florian Becker, 9th Niels Langeveld, 10th Maximilian Paul. 11th is Marinko Jordanovski, Hugo Rob in 12th, Ben Buhnagel 13th. Jens Fiedler 14th, 15th, Tom Lightgib, Jan Lins 16th, Robert Hega 17th, Florian Stadtmann 18th, Matthew Ralton 19th, Stefano Pellegrino in 20th. Here we go. There it is. There is the top 20. Behind that is Shonte 21st, Hugo Zasse 23rd, David Oma 23rd, Chris Meyer 24th. Well then, Lukas Müller wins. We wait for a couple of drivers to come in and have a chat. We'll wait a couple more seconds here. If not, the drivers just didn't really feel like an interview today. But hey, that's it then. Drivers didn't really feel like chatting to me today, but that is not a problem because Lukas Müller wins ahead of Marius Zug and Mirko Bortolotti in third. Thank you all very much for watching. And of course, stick around. Next week we won't be here, but the week after that, before Christmas, we will be here once again. Until then, stay safe, and we'll see you then. Bye-bye.